We know that Trump and the MAGA Republican sycophancy constantly talk about election fraud, election problems, etc., as if there really is a true election problem in America. But it turns out that anytime we go ahead and dig a little bit deeper, what we find are all the people that are voting fraudulently, all the people that are committing these crimes on election, they are preponderantly on the right side of the aisle. You find that anytime you catch somebody doing some sort of a election fraud, it turns out to be somebody on the right, specifically in recent times, somebody trying to vote several times for Donald Trump, or voting where they are not supposed to vote, or voting when they cannot vote, etc. This is no difference. Check this out. This guy has committed voter fraud over and over again. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
A Georgia Republican official who helped promote Donald Trump's false claims about 2020 voter fraud has now been reprimanded by a judge for voting illegally himself. Not once, not twice, but 9 times. NBC's Blaine Alexander is reporting from Atlanta. Also with us, former Republican governor of Ohio, John Kasich, and MSNBC political analyst. Blaine, what more can you tell us about this official? What exactly happened here?
Well, Chris, this is an official here in Georgia, a Republican official who was found by a judge to have voted illegally 9 times. Now, his name is Brian Pritchard, and he was in violation of extended probation for a pair of felony convictions that date back some 30 years. But basically, what the judge found, what a board rather found, and the judge upheld this week, is that he registered while serving his sentence for his felony. So he's now been fined some $5,000. He has to repay the board's investigative costs, and he also faces public reprimand for his conduct in all of this. Now, but you mentioned, though, this is somebody who has cast doubt, or had cast doubt at least, on the results of the 2020 election, the 2020 presidential election. So certainly notable, those previous remarks in light of what he's been found to have done this week. We've reached out to his attorney. We've also reached out to the state Republican Party and not gotten a response, Chris.
Okay, so Governor Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, tweeted that Brian Pritchard must resign immediately. She said that the Republican Party is the party of election integrity. And then she went on to say this.
So when President Trump got on the phone with our Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and said, can you find the votes? Where are they? He was basically looking for ballots. And these ballots have been lost in the mail. And so there was nothing wrong with what President Trump said. As a matter of fact, I think he'll be vindicated easily by a lot of the work that I'm doing and the proof that I'll be showing pretty soon.
Is it clear to you what the message from some on the far right is on election integrity, Governor?
Well, Chris, I mean, I can tell you about election integrity in Ohio. I mean, when you go in to vote, you got a Republican and a Democrat. They sit together. They check your ID. They do all these things. If there is a question, they go in the back room. They talk together. I mean, people take this very seriously, Chris, and you voted in Ohio. You know what it's like. It's like this all across the country.
So we know it is true. When you're pointing a finger, be careful, because 4 of them are pointing back at you. And it turns out that all we have from the right wing, all we have from MAGA Republicans, all we have from these conservatives are problems that don't exist. They are generally doing something we call projection. You know what projection is? You know that you have a problem. You know that you're deficient. You know that you have a certain evil in you. And what you do, instead of accepting it within yourself and trying to make the change to make you a better person, you project all your deficiencies onto someone else and blame them for what you are really responsible for. We shouldn't fall for it. We shouldn't spend the time doing this. I've said it. Now let's close the books. The people who commit election fraud or MAGA folks entertain nothing else. We move on from here.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.